Hi guys, I'm Peter and I'm currently studying mechanical engineering at the University of Nottingham. And I thought I'd take a bit of time just to explain what it's like to be a student and how coronavirus is going to change things, what I'm expecting this year, and maybe if you're thinking about going to uni starting first year, what you might be expecting, and hopefully I can answer some of your questions that you might have. So I'd say my favourite thing about uni is the independence that I have. I think I've always been quite an independent person, but having moved away from home, it means things aren't done for me anymore. So there's good sides to this and bad sides to it. The good thing is you can be spontaneous, you make decisions for yourself, and you can do exactly what you want. So you can just take advantage of all the amazing opportunities at uni and be really spontaneous. And that's just such a freeing experience, and to be able to take advantage of all the amazing things, trying out weird new sports or doing like cheap trips away. It's just such an amazing experience. Obviously, the negative of this is that you could decide not to do your laundry for 2 weeks. You're going to find out that that's not that pleasant quite quickly. But yeah, it's just completely different to living away from home, and it really does make you grow as a person, I think. So what actually surprised me is how little time you have as a student. So once you factor in doing your course, which means going to lectures, classes, labs, doing your coursework, any interests and hobbies you have, societies you're in, sports teams you're in, and socializing is a big aspect, and then obviously cooking for yourself if you're self-catered, and doing your laundry. Once you've done all those things, there's really not many hours left in the day. So time management is a big thing, and it's definitely a challenge. There's a kind of mantra, which is if you're a student, you can socialize, study, sleep. You have to pick two. So yeah, it's a challenge, and you're never going to be able to do everything, but you can still appreciate what you do have time to do. Yeah, obviously COVID-19 is going to have a big impact on students just because there's so many people in one place. Obviously, it is kind of risky. So universities are taking all the necessary steps. So at Nottingham, there's going to be loads of signs up helping you to social distance. Going to be masks are compulsory in university buildings. All lectures are going to be online, and seminars, which are generally smaller groups, depending on your course. For mine, unfortunately, it's still large, but most courses, seminars, which are more interactive sessions, are going to go ahead in person, which is really good because it's important still to have a bit of in-person teaching. I think that kind of helps with your motivation, and if your course is just purely online, that will be harder. I've got labs too, as will a lot of science students, and unfortunately, in order to get everyone through the lab, while still having social distancing, they've had to extend out the timetable. So we've lost a week of our Christmas holidays and a week of our Easter holidays. So that's not ideal, but it's a challenge I'm willing to meet, and it's just going to be interesting. Obviously, the social aspect is going to be really changed too, because so many things are closed, fewer things to do. Whenever I was in first year, there were so many activities that were organised by our whole committee that now wouldn't be possible. But it's comforting to know that there are still so many things you can do. I've been living in Nottingham just over the past few weeks, and still being able to go out to parks, socialise with my house. There's still lots of things you can do, even though you can't socialise with as many people as you could have before, and you can't do all the activities you could have before. There's still so much to be done and so much to be enjoyed at uni, despite COVID. So what I would say, in my opinion, is that you're absolutely making the right decision to go ahead into first year this year. instead of waiting around to see what happens, because if we get to this time next year and coronavirus is still as bad, you can nearly say a whole year has been wasted. Whereas I think COVID-19 does have the potential to get better during the course of this year. So it would be really nice to be in uni to see that happen. Yes, moving into halls can be a daunting experience, but I don't think COVID-19 is going to make that any worse. So at least what they're planning to do at Nottingham is to bubble people in with other people who are doing your course. So while you may not get to meet such a variety of people, at least within your bubble, things are hopefully going to look relatively normal and look like what student life should be. Another thing I would say is that my first and second year I found to be completely different experiences. I've done different things both years, and in first year I was catered, whereas this year I'm cooking for myself, and now I'm going into third year. And it does make you realise going into a new year is a perfect time for a fresh start. So even if coronavirus does impact on your first year and you think it's not everything it could have been, not lived up to the hype, whatever, it's not going to affect your student experience long term, especially if coronavirus does lift before you finish being a student. So it remains something that I would just highly recommend to anyone. And don't be scared about going to university because of coronavirus, because every year is whatever you make it. So even if 1 year is not ideal, the rest of your student experience can still more than make up for it. That's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I really hope you found this helpful, and I wish you all the best for your journey into university in first year.